Now, I know that this is a touchy subject, especially for those of you who are Furious Pete fans, but I don't care.
Hey guys, so Furious Pete about a week ago put up a new update video on his cancer, on going through chemo for testicular cancer. And so, of course, Vegan Gains made a video about it, right? Surprise, surprise. He's still a little bit angry. I guess that's an understatement. He's still quite angry.
You're fine with killing animals, but when it's your turn to face suffering and death, you start blubbering and crying like a little bitch. Fuck you, Pete.
Watch for yourself if you want to. But at least he did acknowledge something that he did not acknowledge. I don't even think something that he really believed in his original videos about Furious Pete. And that's that we can't know for sure, we can't say for sure that Pete's diet caused his cancer. However, there is another very important consideration that Richard missed, that we also can't say for sure that if Pete went vegan, that it would help.
You admit in your video, we can't know for sure that his diet is in fact the cause of his illness. But then you say his diet is contributing to his illness. How do you know? The fact is, you don't. Even though there may be statistical evidence showing an association between diet and certain cancers, you cannot make a deterministic statement of certainty about any one person who gets cancer. That's not what statistics are designed for. Well-designed statistical studies at best can be used to make probabilistic statements and should never be used to make someone feel badly for getting a life-threatening illness.
The truth is, cancer is really scary and really unpredictable. There are many different types of cancers. There are many different mutations that cause it and that let it proliferate. Some are methionine dependent and fed on choline and other substances that animal products are rich in. Some may respond strongly to IGF-1. There are good reasons to believe that in conjunction with chemotherapy, a specialized vegan diet low in methionine and other substances may help fight cancer. If I were in Pete's position, I would definitely talk to my oncologist about it and try going vegan, assuming I weren't already vegan, because hey, it might help and it certainly wouldn't hurt. But he has made it abundantly clear that he is not going to do that, and maybe we should stop. Maybe vegans should stop calling out meat eaters who have cancer and, try to get them to go vegan. This is a very sensitive time in someone's life, very unlikely that they're going to make a change like this, and there's no guarantee that even if they do, that it's going to save their life. Not to mention the reality that it just makes vegans look like assholes. In the eyes of the public, cancer patients can basically do no wrong, and this is a problem, but it's not one that we're likely to fix with a few YouTube videos. Trying to go against the momentum of this cultural eccentricity is a bit poorly conceived. Now, I'm sure at least a few people are going to point the finger at me and say that I'm being a hypocrite for a few videos that I made, but there is a clear difference between Pete and Jen. Jen was advocating for pseudoscience in lieu of real treatment. To be clear, the 5-year survival rate of breast cancer treated with chemo is over 90%. This is much more dramatic than Pete eating meat. Jen's fundraiser for her Gerson coffee enema treatment was actually being promoted as vegan activism. After it cured her, she was going to go on to be this anecdote of how to cure cancer naturally using a vegan Gerson protocol. On the other hand, Pete is not making the claim that meat or milk or eggs or bacon or whatever else is going to cure his cancer. His journey with cancer, his vlogs, have nothing to do with veganism. For all of the unkind things that he has said about animals and veganism in the past, Pete is basically just minding his own business here. Maybe we should follow suit. The final thing I want to say, going back to Richard, is how interesting I find this video in light of his, what I am calling Wolf Dog Gate. I thought that was kind of funny. I tweeted it. I thought it was funny, so I wanted to share it. Something interesting, a couple things that he mentions in his Furious Pete video. Number one, he calls Furious Pete, I don't know if he actually calls him a narcissist.
This is what makes me think you're a narcissist.
But I guess narcissistic tendencies with regard to his inability to handle criticism.
Narcissists can't handle any criticism, and here you are acting terrified on camera just from the thought of being criticized.
With Furious Pete constantly issuing takedown notices on fair use videos.
And when people actually do criticize you, no matter how they do it, whether they're harsh like me or polite like Freely, your first reaction is to silence them by filing a fallacious copyright claim.
I find that interesting considering I took Richard's video on the whole dog situation. You can check out my video on it here. I took that to be a pretty good example of someone not handling criticism very well. And obviously, again, like I talked about, being very uncomfortable about the whole thing and trying to deflect the hate, put it on someone else, take the heat off himself. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Also, with the whole t-shirt thing, Richard is still bringing up Furious Pete selling these t-shirts, the PETA, Tasty, Tasty Animal, whatever t-shirts.
And you've even made t-shirts mocking their suffering and death.
I could only find evidence of him selling these t-shirts back in like 2011. If you look on his storefront, Pete's storefront, he is not selling these t-shirts anymore. I find it interesting that Richard is so unwilling to let bygones be bygones and forgive him for this stupid thing that he did, given what he's done, given something obviously that he did, and probably regrets. I don't know how he expects people to forgive and forget, right? Buying this designer breed instead of just going and rescuing a dog. I'm sure they have shelters in Canada, right? So Richard, if you're watching this, my point is just that if you want people to move on from the whole dog thing and to just forgive and forget, maybe you should do the same. Thank you so much for watching. Why did I do that? That's my hi. That's not my outro. What am I doing? I'm ruining everything. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments or questions, leave those down below, and I will have a new video very soon. It doesn't feel right without the subscribe.